Hey everyone, it's Failed Shot back another video, and today we're going to be going over the March 23rd patch notes that just dropped about an hour ago. This is a huge one. I just got done with my video on the recent announcement about RTA and Guild versus Environment. If you haven't checked that out, I will leave it at the end of this video. But in that video, I mentioned that a couple months ago, they mentioned about adding new dungeons or new dungeon levels. And here it is. We've added Hell Mode 1 and 2 to each of the dungeons, which is absolutely insane. And I will jump into the game and showcase just how much more difficult it is on those extra levels. Now, as I mentioned, each of the Arcane Dominator stages are getting that Hell Mode 1 and 2. As well as the Witch of the Wind is being changed, the mechanics from having damage based on the difference of speed to no positive effect, or at least applying no positive effects for 2 turns. And they've adjusted a couple of other things like the interface for multi-battles, the first time clear rewards, and a couple of other things which aren't super important. Really, it's all about these Hell Mode Stage 1 and 2, which is going to be massive for prepping for RTA and Guild versus Environment. So we do want to get on that and see how we can beat these stages. So let's jump into the game and just see how much more difficult these stages really are. All right, so here we are. We're at Queen of Tides, and you can see here the Hell Stages 1 and 2, they are in their own separate mode in Hell Mode, which is pretty crazy. And it looks like you're going to be getting some 6-star pieces for the first clear. I believe they still drop 5-star pieces from what I've heard from a couple of other people. But we're going to just enter Hell Stage Mode 1. And we're not going to use this comp. I just made a video on this Stage 12 version. We're going to go ahead and run a real tanky comp. We're going to run Mythasia. We're going to run Hakrin. Where's my Hakrin? We're going to run Santis, and we're going to go ahead and run Zatlux just to see how, Zatlux kind of matches up against the waves. This is kind of like the step up from the beginner comp, which is Valuk instead of Zatlux here. So this is a very beginner-oriented comp. We're going to see if Zatlux can even come close to clearing out the waves. Okay, so this is super important, actually. We're going to take it off auto here. So Zatlux is actually not too far away from killing this crab, but the Tide Guards are actually part of the wave now, which is actually huge. This means that you're almost never going to clear out the waves with Zatlux, unfortunately. I mean, Zatlux doing 31k without like defense down and attack up is going to be next to impossible. Let's go ahead and back out and just run defense down and attack up with Zatlux and just see how much damage he can actually do, even to the 31k. I don't think it's going to come close. And so immediately my first impressions are Poison Comp, and Desmond. I think Desmond's going to be super crucial for clearing out the waves if you don't have Gangelo. So this might be a very difficult stage for a lot of people. And who knows, maybe it's not too much better. Maybe it's a lot better than Stage 12 farming. But we'll see. So let's go ahead and just defense down here and then go ahead and buff up with Wind Strikes. I'm just curious to see how much damage our Zatlux can do. Let's go ahead and hit the mini crabs here and then just see how much damage we're going to do to the Tide Guards here. So as you can see, he only did about 15k damage with defense down and attack up. Granted, he does have speed boots on him right now. He doesn't have an insane amount of attack and crit damage and all that. But even if I did, he probably still wouldn't kill off the ads, even if I had him on my best gear currently. So we're going to run back to our other comp here and just go ahead and run in Desmond and just see how it works on auto just a little bit. But you could see here these Stage 12 dungeons, or Stage 13 rather, and 14 dungeons are absolutely insanely difficult compared to the Stage 12 dungeons. I mean, Zatlux can barely even scratch the waves, where before he was one-shotting each wave. So this is definitely going to be much more difficult. So let's go ahead and just run it on auto for a little bit and, really just watch how much more difficult this is, because I don't know if we're ever going to be able to run speed comps, at least for the foreseeable future for this game mode. I think it's going to be purely tank comps, very long runs. And so there's going to be merit to running Stage 12 for a lot of people. I think a lot of whales and things like that, a lot of high spenders are going to still run Stage 12. Because I think the only difference between Stage 12 and 13 and 14 here is basically drop rates. Wow, look at that. Our whole team just got killed by the Tide Guards. That's crazy. We just got one shot by the Tide Guards. Wow, I am honestly speechless. I did not think that we would die in literally 2 hits. That is pretty crazy, to be honest. That second skill hits really hard. Holy moly, what is this? The Water Lance here is literally doing 70% of our HP on the waves. Wow. Wow, I don't know what to say. Mythasia looks like she's going to be super crucial for this. I don't know how you're going to get through this without Mythasia, at least for Queen. If you really aren't tanky enough, you're just going to die, and Mythasia will allow you to revive. So maybe we can get through the waves. But now the concern is time. If you're running out of time over and over again, because these waves take forever. But there we go, another Water Lance there, and there goes Desmond and Santis yet again. Wow. This is definitely going to require a lot of testing and, things, but these characters are not, like, poorly geared at all. Actually, I just re-geared them all in revival sets, each character, just to give you an idea of how much more difficult these stages are. I'm kind of speechless right now. Sorry for, not having a lot of commentary here, but it's a little crazy how much more difficult these stages are. I'll just go over the gear real quick just so you can see what you're getting into. I mean, this is 25k HP, 1500 defense. And then we have Desmond here. He's got not a crazy amount of stats because he is running crit rate right now, but he's got 105% focus, 17k HP, and he's in revival set. All the characters here are on revival set. Santis is Ascension 5. She's got 18k HP, 1300 defense on a revival set with 116% focus. And then we have Hakron here, who's also a 15k HP. Not crazy defense on Hakron. He's honestly kind of poorly geared compared to the other characters, but still not like very mediocre. He's in revival set as well. The other characters are geared much better than Hakron here, but as you can see, these are like way higher stats than you would need for Queen 12, and we are dying on the first wave easily in Queen 13. Let's go ahead and run Ashe. I think that's the other one that people are very curious about, because those are the two most important ones. I don't know if I have an Ashe comp specifically built out right now on this account, so let's go ahead and swap over to my other account here. All right, so we're on the alt account, and I do have the Ice Wolf comp built out for Ashe 12 here, so let's go ahead and just run it, see what happens when we run the Ice Wolf comp. I imagine the speeds are going to be much different, so we'll have to readjust the speed tuning, but right off the bat, it looks like it's going to be good enough for at least Nathalia to go before the waves here, which is good. Now, the question is, are we going to be able to kill off the waves with Nathalia? So let's go ahead and see, because we do have the Fire Imps here, and they're like mini bosses. So, okay, so defense down, attack up, and Nathalia is hitting for, what is that, 17k HP on the Flame Guards. Wow. Wow. This is pretty rough, to be honest. So the Ice Wolf comp is going to be pretty much gone on 13 and 14, I think. The damage requirements are going to be so high for you to get the proper speed tuning. We are not even talking about the boss and whether or not that's even going to be possible because of the damage you're taking. I mean, you're not going to have defense down for the second wave, so I don't see this comp ever working in 13 and 14. So we're going to be back to standard comps. We're going to have to go back to the drawing board. Characters like Blackhorn, characters like Joseph are going to be very crucial. I imagine Santis is going to be super important in Ashe because of the poisons and max HP damage. I imagine Nathalia is going to need some insane stats, or perhaps just have to run double AoE water damage. There's some like Santis, Nathalia, Hydrisia plus Blackhorn, or perhaps Ciara plus Blackhorn. I'm not sure yet, but this is looking very rough and very end game focused. I think that this is something that a lot of people should not worry about for the time being. I think you should definitely keep farming your stage 12s. You're definitely going to need to farm your stage 12s to even attempt Hell Stage. But I don't think people should be worrying about this if you're mid game. I think you should be focusing on clearing Void Tower hard, and then later on, after you beat Void Tower hard, starting to go into 13 and 14 dungeons. From my initial impressions, granted, we may be able to break 13 and 14 with some theory crafting and such, but these are just my initial impressions on everything. Very excited in my personal opinion. I think the 13 and 14 stage dungeons are very exciting and awesome content for the game. Very interesting to theory craft new squads and everything, and require additional stat thresholds. Many people are going to be upset because they're so difficult, but I think that's a very good thing for this game. I think it's going to bring back a lot of players for the time being, and then start farming those 13 and 14 stage dungeons for preparation for RTA. So Personally, very exciting. Let me know what you all think about this. And also, if you do want to check out that video about me talking about the recent update to the game in regards to the future of RTA and Gilbert's environment, I will leave it right up on top of me or above my head here. I had to really quickly drop this one in because as I was editing the video, I had noticed that the Stage 12 dungeons, when you swap over to the normal mode, it states that the Stage 12 dungeons only drop 3 to 5 star gear. This is completely wrong. It's just a visual bug as well as a kind of like a mechanic bug. What it does is actually basically turns you over to stage like 6, 7 or something like that. And then you have to go back to stage 12 and you'll see that stage 12 has not been changed at all. So if we go back to stage 12, you can see that there's 5 to 6 star gear. So if any of you are swapping back to normal mode, clicking on stage 12 and running it, it'll actually transfer you over to like stage 6. You'll run a 12 run or a 10 run and you'll get 3 to 5 star gear. Don't worry, that is just a bug in the game. They do need to fix that, but when you're going ahead and swap and you want to farm a stage 12, make sure you kind of cycle through the stages and go back to stage 12 before you start farming. Otherwise, you'll just waste your energy on 3 to 5 star gear. So make sure that happens. Really wanted to quickly make that out for you all because that is a super, super important thing that I don't want anyone to get the wrong information about. They did not nerf stage 12 dungeons. All right, that'll be it for this video. Let me know what y'all think, and I'll see you for the next one.